After having a good time in Contractors, even though I wasn't a good shooter, I did feel an itch to try out the VR gun stocks that you see around. I wanted to see if they feel realistic and whether they are worth it. So this Mac11VR rifle stock came at the right time. This is a $170 magnetic rifle gun stock for HTC Vive. An Oculus Rift version is coming but is not for sale yet. There is no Windows Mixed Reality version of this brand. Now I want to inform you that this gun stock is not the cheapest out there. Online you can also find build it yourself kits that are around $50 to $70, or you can even find 3D prints that you can download to print your own if you have access to a 3D printer. But these two options does take more work to get set up. If you don't want to spend more time getting it set up and you have the money to spend, then there are also other pre-built gun stocks available for around $100. But the price also depends on whether you want it more deluxe, like for example with magnets or other attachments. The one I'm holding now has magnets, 3 mounting areas and a sling included. In this video I will give you my first impressions on this rifle gun stock. This is my first time checking out gun stocks ever, so this video is not a review. I'm planning on checking more different gun stocks first so that we have something to compare it to before we give you any final recommendations on it. I'm also not a gun expert at all. I haven't used any guns before except for my 2 times at a gun range and 2 times that I attended an airsoft game using a fake rifle, so I can't really compare this gun stock to a real life gun. However, in this video I just want to figure out whether this gun stock is making a VR shooter more fun and maybe also more realistic. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet to join more of these kind of adventures. Anyway, let's get started by showing you the box. This is in the box. Firstly, this is the rifle stock in 2 different parts. Then these are 2 sticks that you can use to combine the stock. This is the sling. This is the hex key that you can use. These are 2 mounts for the Vive controller with magnets in them. Alright, and now let's move on to the setup. I'll show you quickly how to set it up. Firstly, remove the mounts from the gun stock. Unscrew the mounts with the provided hex key. Then remove the parts from each other. Put the bottom part underneath the donut of the Vive controller. Put the top part on top of it. Use the hex key to put the screw back in. Then grab the first stock and put the sticks in these holes. I had some trouble putting one of them in, but then you can use a hammer to make it fit. Just make sure that they are the same length. Now grab the buttstock and put the buttstock on the sticks as well. Make sure that they are super tight. And the stock is done. You can put the controllers on the stock like this. And now you only have to attach the sling. And now it's ready for action. And while you are watching this video, please leave a like if you like this type of videos. And now it's time to put them to the test. So, as you can see, I am in Contractors, and I am in Contractors because Contractors has a really nice gun stock calibration tool that I'm going to use with my gun stock. And I just picked out a rifle here. I was trying to look for the Mac11 rifle because this gun stock is actually designed as that one, but I cannot find it. So I just picked one that I thought would be
most easy to use, and I put a scope on it, and also a vertical grip, since my gun stock has one too. So I'm just going to use this one, and now I can go to the menu. You have to make sure that you have using gun stock in the settings, and then control that you have this enabled, and then you can use calibrate gun stock, and now you have to choose a weapon for it. Let me see, I have this one. Step 1 is to install both controllers on the gun stock now. I'm going to do that. Let's see if I can do this blindly. Okay. Since there are magnetic stuff in there, it is easy to put it on blindly, so that's nice. Let me see, that feels pretty good. And now I can use my touchpad to adjust the weapon's angle and offset. So I'm using my touchpad now to make it feel better. So I need to be able to use the scope still. Actually, this feels pretty good already. Let me try it out. Now step 2 is to just hold both trigger buttons, and then you finish calibration. Now it's on. Let me just pick up my weapon, see how it feels. Yeah, I need to put my hands on there too. Okay. Okay, I can see my scope clearly, and this I have to say, this feels pretty cool. It feels pretty realistic. Let's see what it's like to reload now. Where's the reload button here? Over there. Okay. Alright! That's pretty cool. Does seem to work pretty well. So this feels pretty realistic now after calibration. Yeah. Oh, it does easily come off here. Does it? Yes. Okay. Let's see if we lose any tracking later on in the game. I'm going to try a game with bots first. Okay. Do I have my gun here? Yes. Everyone's running already. Let's go to. This is gonna be interesting, testing out the gunstock for the first time. Well, it's actually also my first time trying a gunstock out. Alright, he's dead. So this gunstock is actually compatible with both the normal 5 controllers and also the new 5 controllers, 5 Pro controllers. I am using the original 5 controllers right now. And I'm going to test the tracking and stuff right now. See what that is like. Here we go. So I did notice something, that if I try to ungrip my controller in real life, but I forget to do it in the virtual game, like this, don't do it, then my gun will be like all messed up. So you have to make sure that if you do that, if you try to grip the handle over there, that you place your controller on the magnetic mount first and then grip it, to so that the calibration doesn't become off. That is very important here. So I'm actually pretty surprised that the tracking works really well because of the way the controllers are mounted in this gun stock. A lot of gun stocks mount the controllers actually on top of it, because then the sensors of the 5 controllers won't be covered. So I was a little worried that the tracking was not good here, but I don't seem to have any trouble with that, so that's really nice. That's really nice, and I'm actually starting to play a little bit better now. Well, I use scope and everything. Let's reload real quick. Uh-oh. And actually it feels really nice to have a real gun stock on my shoulder like this. This part is pretty comfortable. I've been playing for a half hour now and I don't feel any trouble with it. And my head, or actually my cheek, doesn't come a lot on this part, but this part is pretty soft, and it really depends on how you calibrate it. Maybe I'm not using a good posture here, I don't know, but it feels pretty nice actually. This is soft, softer than the part here, for example. So it is comfortable to me right now, but I do need to play some more with this before I really know if it is comfortable or not. Oh crap. I like it. I like it a lot. It does really feel so much more immersive this way. Okay, what I'm actually going to try right now is to lose the gun stock to see if the tracking still works fine. Let's try that out. Put it on my back for a sec.
Let's see what the tracking is like now.
It is definitely less heavier, less tiring for my arms to not use a gun stock though. But it is way more realistic with one. And honestly, I think it's more fun too. So the tracking still seems to work really fine, even though I have those little mounting parts on top of my controllers now. So yeah, it does seem to work fine, actually, even without a gun stock. So let's try playing a game with the gun stock. I can look a bit down my headset, and that's why I know how to find the parts where I can mount it on. However, if I try to do it blindly, I really need to get used to it. Like, I can find it somehow, and it will just go into place, but I don't know, it's not always very easy. Oh, I love playing a game like this. It's so realistic. I love it. Alright, let's continue and move on to the outro now.
So, my first impressions on the Mac11VR rifle are pretty good. I was worried that the mounts on the 5 controllers would cause the controllers to lose tracking. But surprisingly, the tracking was accurate and I was playing for about an hour. I did confuse the jitter at the beginning for loss of tracking, but that was because I forgot to ungrip the weapon in game while I did unmount the controller from the stock. This would mess up the calibration, but that fixes itself after regripping the weapon. Kudos to the developers of Contractors for adding a gun stock calibration tool. Not every game has this, so you gotta be aware that it might take some extra work to make a gun stock work in every game. I did hit my headset occasionally against the gun stock when trying to look at the scope. This wasn't very troubling though, and I think this really depends on how you calibrate it. As you could see in the video, I was able to play the game pretty well. If you don't look at my bad shooting at least. It is pretty lightweight too, weighing about 500 grams without the controllers, so that isn't heavy if you need to put it away. The material of the gun stock feels very sturdy and solid. I can't bend it and it doesn't feel like it can easily break. And I like this design too. I think it looks cooler than some of the other gun stocks you see around, but as you are playing with a headset on, I guess it doesn't matter much unless you have a lot of people watching you play. So using a gun stock in games is very much fun. I don't think it's a needed accessory for VR, but if you are a VR shooter veteran and want to up your game, then a gun stock could be something for you. I hope you enjoyed this first impressions on the Mac11VR rifle controller. We will be spending more time with this controller in other VR shooters as well as find other gun stocks to try out. I just need to try out more gun stocks before we can give you any final recommendations on them. So a video with our final thoughts will be coming up later. Anyway, what do you think of this VR gun stock and what are the things that you are looking for when you want to buy a VR gun stock? Let us know down below. And as always, VR on! I'm also not a gun expert at all. Airsoft game. I forgot what to say. Oops, my microphone.